think I mentioned in another video that that I'd be doing the 5 real reasons why people don't buy. I'm gonna keep my eyes on the road so that we don't have a wreck over here today. When people get into sales, in any type of sale, whether you're in mortgage protection sales or whether you're doing final expense sales, you could be selling advertising, you could be selling marketing, anything big. When that kind of transaction is happening, one of the things that people don't realize is that they just want to move through, in their mind, their sales process. But there's a psychology to selling, and there are some fundamentals that have to be addressed. Those 5 things are: you have to establish, number 1, trust. Number 2, you have to establish what the need is. Number 3, you have to establish if there is a want to or a desire. Number 4, you have to establish a sense of urgency. And number 5, you have to establish affordability, or money issues. You have to deal with anything that can hang it up because of money, financing, purchasing, bank accounts, whatever. Those things have to be covered. Those are truly the 5 reasons why people don't buy. If there's no trust, you don't establish what the need is, if you don't know what the desire is, or if you don't understand if there's a want to, and there's no sense of urgency that things need to be done today, and or there might be a money issue, there's really going to be a roadblock, a challenge to you moving forward, to take an application, to get the deal, to get the signature, to get them to finalize. And so when you're going through whatever process that you have for selling, if you just remember those 5 things, you're going to win in more cases than not. So regardless of what that looks like, if you go sequentially in the order that I just kind of outlined them, and know first that you have to establish trust and credibility with the client, that comes in several ways. Well, in final expense sales, it really comes in developing a mini relationship at the outset of your time with them. You sit down with people. It really starts at before you even get to the door. It really starts at how do you walk up to the door. You know, do you look intimidating? Do you have all of your gear with you when you're going to the door, or are you just going very unassuming, looking for help? Different groups will do it different ways. You know, our group, they wear a lanyard or a name identifier, a badge identifier for final expense sales. They just go to the door trying to confirm that this is the homeowner. And especially if you're doing home visits and you don't have preset appointments, and you're going very unassuming, you're waving and smiling at the house. All those things lower the barriers and raise the trust level. And so right from that point, you know, and then when you go into the home and you move into the house, you're just really trying to establish rapport with those people so that you can have a conversation about the real stuff. When it comes to final expenses, sometimes that's a tough conversation to have. So you really have to dig in, find out who they are, and understand their family dynamic. Who are the people that, you know, they value the most? Sons, daughters, spouses, things like that. All those things help establish trust. When it comes to mortgage protection sales, trust oftentimes is developed from a sense of, from a perspective of knowledge, and you being the professional. So you need to establish trust with a sense of confidence, with knowledge, skill set in what you do in the business. Trust is going to be important no matter which segment of the business you find yourself in. You have to establish trust. You then need to transition into finding out why they were looking for information, but then to be able to dig deeper, not just find out why they were looking for it or what the need is, but then to dig a little further and find out why it's important that they cover that need. And that therein leads to the desire or the want to. You have to remember, people buy more of what they want in life than what they need. Just think about that. Most people buy more crap of what they want than what they need all day, every day, right? That's why you see these fancy cars and big screen TVs and cell phones to the max, and sometimes, you know, and then people have credit card debt. So you're actually financing your phones, you're financing cars, you're financing the toys you have because people want stuff. It's no different when you make a big purchase in something. You have to dig in to find out why it's important, not just what the need is, but why it's important that they cover that need. Because if you can get to that, if you can get to the why, and that they really want to make sure their wife is protected because of a situation that happened to them when they were kids, with their family, with their dad, or they lost somebody and that family wasn't ready for that tragedy. You know, all those things lend itself to giving power and ownership to the client to take ownership of their why. And when people take ownership of why they want something and not just the fact that they might need it, now you're simply becoming an assistant buyer. You're no longer a salesperson. You're no longer someone who's sitting across the table selling something to them that they think they might need. You're now someone who's sitting on the same side of the table as them, figuratively speaking, helping them get something that they want. And so that's really establishing the desire. So remember that if you're in your final expense presentation, remember to ask the further question of why these things are important to them. Dig in, find out the value proposition and the emotional tie-in as to the value they hold on why covering this need is important to them. Then that leads us to developing a sense of urgency. Urgency really comes down to, in my opinion, with life insurance, it comes down to a level of comfort associated with a level of comfort so that they can proceed to the application, where they feel like they trust you, they understand why they want it, they understand the products, you've educated them, you've earned their trust, they see the need, they understand why, and now they feel like they should go ahead and get it done. Clearly with life insurance, you're never going to be healthier or as young as you are today. I mean, regardless of what that situation is. Yes, you might get a little further away from a health impairment or something that happened to you that might change an underwriting profile, but you're not going to be younger than you are today. And life insurance is based on your age and your health, not on your money. And so it's always important to let people know that things can change in an instant. And you know, one of the reasons why we have insurance on our cars, you know, why do I have insurance on this car? Because if something happens in the next 2 minutes, I need to be covered, right? Otherwise I got a huge bill to pay. I'd rather pay it in small increments for when that emergency could happen, knowing that that'll be covered and I'll be financially protected in that situation. It's the same thing with life insurance. So the value proposition is kind of built into the life insurance plan because it's speaking to something that could be immediately needed or imminent. It has an urgency sense built in. But for me, the nuance here is to help your clients feel comfortable in answering all of their questions, so that sense of urgency turns into a level of comfort that I need to go ahead and do this today. You know, this person I'm with is credible. This person is trustworthy. They know their stuff. Do the right thing by the client. Let them know the options that are available to them. Let them know that you're there to assist them in getting the best plans available. That creates that sense of trust. That creates that sense of comfort and extends that urgency that's you know, that's built into the life insurance plan to them. And so it helps them go ahead and make that decision. Also, with the sense of urgency, I want to encourage everybody, as with any good sales representative, always assume the sale. Always assume the sale. Never wait for the client to say, yes, I want that. If you wait, you will only get what we call the laydowns, and nobody wants just to get the laydowns. Give them 2 or 3 options, start filling out the paperwork, or get online and start submitting the application, because as an independent field underwriter, that's what you're there to do. You keep moving forward and you address objections as they come up. The final big one is the money part. A lot of new people, when they get in the business, they think the money part is the #1 reason why people don't buy, because of the price point. But that's usually the last one. So if you can develop enough value proposition up front, usually the money is a non-issue, because people then have a value of where their money's going. Transaction is really like, do I want this? And how much value does it have? And if it has a high value for me, I'm willing to put my money there. However, sometimes money is an issue. So it's important that you address affordability with your clients throughout the process. When it comes to final expense planning, because of the demographic, sometimes we have to clarify whether people have bank accounts, how they get paid, do they have a pension, you know, are they on Social Security? These are all variables that affect which companies that you can recommend to people. It also affects their affordability, because it's going to give you an idea of the household income that family has. And it's going to give you a sense of perspective as to what you need to do to best protect that family. Because at the end of the day, you have to customize a plan that not only meets needs, but it's also affordable. If they give you some resistance, or it looks like it's not going well, say, I see that you might be challenged with some of those price points. These are just starting points. Would you like me to adjust that? I can go up or I can go down. Would you like me to show you a couple of other options here? And nod and say, let me go ahead and show you some other options, okay? Those are some of the things, guys, when it comes to the psychology of the sale. There are 5 real reasons why people don't buy. If you're getting to the end of most of your presentations and people are saying, well, I want to think about it, or I want to talk it over with my wife, or I want to, you know, look at our budget and we'll get back to you next week. Can you leave us the pricing? We'll call you. If you're getting that, you're not dealing with one of those 5, because the objections that people are giving you at the end are simply smoke screens. You haven't really covered one of those other 5 issues. If you get good at understanding those 5 real reasons, address those regardless of your presentation format, you will win a lot more than you lose. Anyway, hope that helps. Out.